Hey, hey, what's up, guys? I think we are live. Let's give this a refresh. Check our audio, see how it sounds. Check our audio, see how it sounds. Oh, good, it sounds nice. Check our audio, see how it sounds. Oh, good, it sounds nice. Alright, so what are we gonna do on today's stream? Ooh. Well, let's assume we can get the back to loosen up. We are gonna be drawing the winner of our giveaway for this club. You guys can still enter. You know what? I did it again. Hey, Squirrel Sniper's here. What's up? I need to go and get the links from yesterday's stream. And drop them in here, which we can do. And then we are going to, in real time, draw the winner of our giveaway. I have the tracker here on my other tab. I always find a way to make this more circuitous than it needs to be. Okay. Oh, do have a new band situation set up here to use for some warm-up stretches. This is really good, guys, for warming up those rotational muscles that we're going to need for our golf swing. All right. So I'll do some of that. Let's just grab like a wedge here and start hitting some shots. Start getting everything loose. Already feeling a bit better after doing some of that band work. You know, sometimes, some days, it's just going to take more energy to get your body ready than others. And today feels like one of those days. Oh, hi, superstar! Say hi, doggos! You came to be a superstar on the internet today? You did? He said, I know, everybody loves when I come say hi. I'm way cooler than you. Right? I know, if we were smart, we would have just made this cute dogs channel. And you guys would be mega famous, because you're the cutest dogs there ever were. She says, but I'm going to sniff over here first. Oh yeah. That's what your knees start to sound like when you get on the other side of 30, I found. What are we doing? Chomping on grass? We don't chomp grass. No. No, you're not a cow. You're not a cow. Ooh. Gus MTB said hi. What's up, Gus? Welcome to the stream. We are just getting our day started out here. Gonna start loosening up. Did some stretching. Didn't quite finish our stretching because a very cute pup came to say hi. Baby girl, you're gonna be in the danger zone. All right, guys, so at the top of the hour, at 4 o'clock Eastern, is when we're gonna do the giveaway selection, where we will pick the winner of our random giveaway. I have a tracker, a spreadsheet if you will, where everybody who has entered has a number. Hey, Liam's here. Gus says, do the Happy Gilmore swing. We could hit one like that. You know what I've been thinking, guys? Tell me if you think this is a good idea. I thought it might be kind of interesting to play, you know, a full round, like maybe 9 holes, with the Happy Gilmore swing and do it on every shot, right? Even little chips, little putts. That could be interesting. So drop a comment in the chat if you think that video is worth making. All right, we can try it here. This is just a pitching wedge, so it won't be really the full Happy Gilmore with a driver like you're used to, but we can... Oh, that was hit really bad. Kind of low and right. Can do better than that. Yeah, something like that. Because I think it'd be hard. I mean, honestly, the driver might be easier because you can just really slow it down and it's a big face. But, like, if you have 150 yards, I mean, what are you going to do? Try and, like, do a full swing, you know, like, just hit a normal shot? Or, you know, take more club and try to smooth it? That's not really in the vein of Happy Gilmore. I would probably need to practice it. Swing feels pretty good, the first few swings that we've made. Hey, what's up, guys? That would be an interesting video, and putt like you're holding a hockey stick. Oh, okay, so do the full Imagine having to go to school. Schools are back in 2 weeks in Ireland. Wow, that's cool. I'm actually headed to Ireland myself pretty soon. Leprechaun says, you should have had them ink muscles on your legs. Mine are even skinnier. What are you, a 50-year-old man that watches YouTube? That's funny. I've never, it never ceases to amaze me, the wide-ranging comments that you'll get on a platform like this, or a situation, right, the live stream. Especially for, you know, where it takes people's brains a second to be like, wait, what am I looking at? Sir. Alright guys, I'm going to keep talking about this a bunch because today's the day. We are selecting the winner. If you are interested in winning this very cool Adams hybrid, maybe you've never had a hybrid, maybe you want to try one for the first time, maybe this would be a cool upgrade for your bag. Very simple to enter, free to win. All you have to do is follow me and Firefighter Golf on Instagram. The video in the description will tell you how to enter. Or even in here, Squirrel Sniper can help me keep track, hopefully. If you want to enter live on the stream, drop the double check mark. Leprechaun says, I'm 72 and watch YouTube. Does that count? That definitely counts. So, again, very easy to enter the giveaway, guys. Just follow me and Firefighter Golf on Instagram. And we are just going to put this in the mail in the next day or two to somebody who wins. Trying to, you know, when you say, well, John, what's the point? Why are you just, you know, giving away free clubs? It seems like a good club, one that you might want to keep. Well, what we're trying to do is, especially, you know, Firefighter Golf works with first responders. That's his area of expertise. And just trying to raise awareness about, you know, resources and mental health stuff that's going on with people. Trying to destigmatize these issues and just, you know, talk openly about them. So he does a great job over on his channel, Firefighter Golf, Steve Pope. So check that out, guys. Drop a comment in the video, and we'll get you entered. That shaft is top notch. Yeah, this is a Matrix Ozic X Flex Altus hybrid shaft. I've used this golf club to hit some really good golf shots over the years, but it's time for it to move on to a new home, where that's why we're doing the giveaway. Who's more famous, the Beatles or Taylor Swift? I'm going to say the Beatles. Opinion on a driving iron, good or bad investment? I think it's a good investment if you have a use case for it. I love my 2-iron that has a graphite shaft in it, but you'll notice it's not in the bag currently. And that's because, for me, I found other, you know, a 7-wood, namely, that was a more versatile option. However, if, you know, say you don't particularly enjoy hitting woods or hybrids, maybe you know, your swing is really, really solid with an iron, then that 2 or 3 iron can be a really good investment, right? Something that you can feel confident, even on a narrow hole or a difficult tee shot, a club that you can pull out and feel confident that you're going to be able to put a good swing on it and hit that ball in the fairway. The reason I took mine out of the bag full time was simply because with the woods, hitting them into long par 3s and into par 5s, I can launch them higher in the air with more spin and get about the same amount of total distance. So when you play on firm greens, right, you know, hitting a 2-iron or a 3-iron into greens like that sometimes isn't going to be the easiest or, you know, best option. So that's why I've gone to more hybrids and woods in my bag. But everyone's, you know, preferences and bag setups are different. Felt a little bit loopy. Oh, the dogs need some attention. Oh. All right, so still just swinging pitching wedge here. Trying to work on finding the center of the face consistently, trying to get the swing loose. Don't have to worry too much about getting warm because it's about 90 degrees here today. And pretty excited, I have a tee time in a couple hours. I'm gonna go play 9 more holes, try to film that for you guys so we have some content, some stuff to post while I'm on vacation. Hey, Joshua's here. Let me catch up quickly on the chat. Hey, John, I just made the golf team as a freshman, shot a 30 at my personal best. Good, congrats, Carlinda. Really well done. Or Carlinda. Leprechaun says you have a nice swing. Oh, thanks very much. Par 35 with really fast greens and a tough course. That's awesome. Really, really good plan. That was a crazy looking bug. Not really a fan of bugs, to be honest. My home course, by far the hardest course in the area. Shot a 44 on a par 35, just very inconsistent conditions today. Hey, Stinka's here. That's awesome. Congrats on making the team. Congrats on a great round. Personal best. There is definitely something about, you know, that pressure, whether it's trying to qualify for a team or you're playing in a tournament, right? That pressure that focuses your mind, that just really, you know, you got to keep your wits about you. That's what's so great about the test, but it really does have a focusing effect. When you know you got to get the ball in the hole and there's nobody coming to save you. Definitely going to need to probably find a new hitting mat pretty soon here. We are running out of good spots to hit off of. However, the net return does seem built to last. That thing's not going anywhere. That swing feels really nice. Take a look at that one, see how it looks on the camera. Hey, Clicks is here. Your wrist too stiff. Oh, it could be. Could be true. I don't know. Hey, I took your advice on my hook 2 days, and I broke 80 for the first time and shot a 77. Amazing. Congrats, Trippadoodle. That's awesome playing. Hey, Clicks is here. I've been grinding on the practice for 2 hours each of just chipping and putting with distance control, which I didn't realize that was my flaw in my game. Yeah, especially with putting, right? Speed control is so key. You know, being able to aim your putts and read the putts is definitely important and gets more important the closer you get to the hole. But, you know, from 30 feet, right, you just want to make sure you have really good speed. You're lagging it up there, trying to have an easy second putt. It's funny, you know, you focus on little things like tempo and balance without getting overly technical, and you find that the strike just pretty immediately will improve. Let's grab a little longer club, maybe like a 7-iron. I don't know what it is about the 7-iron specifically, but the chat recently there's been a lot of 7-iron questions. And I usually am somebody who practices with an 8-iron, but not anymore. Not today. Baby Shot said hi. What's up? Kenny said, I'm a kid, but I'm pretty good. That's awesome. Golf is a wonderful game that you can play for a lifetime. I had the privilege of playing with 3 guys in their mid-80s at the start of the season. That was one of my favorite rounds of the year so far. They just had great banter, you know, really obviously years and years of friendship between them. And even if you didn't start playing as a kid, it's never too late to pick up golf. That was pretty munchy, guys. Love the sound of that strike. Makes me excited to go play golf this afternoon. It's going to be really fun. Got a perfect day for it. I didn't 3-putt on 18 holes, lots of 1-putts. That's amazing. That's really what you're looking for. All right, guys, go check out me and Firefighter Golf on Instagram if you want to win this hybrid from Adams Golf. This is the Idea Pro A12 20-degree hybrid. Free to enter the giveaway. Check out the video in the description. I train only at my nanny's. Mason Jet said hi. Hey, Mason. Stinka said, thanks for the tips on flop shots. Really helped. Oh, that's great to hear. I'm really happy to hear that. I love when, you know, somebody comes to the stream, whether it's their first, second, third time, they have a question, we talk about it, go, hey, okay, I'm gonna invest in that idea or try to practice it, you know, what John was talking about, and then they come back and they say, hey, I tried that drill or I, you know, implemented that new technique, and it worked. I had a positive result. That's the best kind of feedback that I can get, you know, when I'm trying to share tips or knowledge. And really happy with the strike on these 7-irons so far. Oof, tell you what, it is going to be warm out there on the golf course, guys, because I'm in here in the shade with our new tent set up. And it is steamy already, let me tell you what. Another thing I keep talking about getting, and I just have not had time to find one, is like a range caddy. You know, a ball collector, if you will. How do you hit a 56 consistently? Well, the same way you hit any of your other clubs or wedges. Right, which is, you know, practice hitting the center of the club face, practice your impact position. John says, delete your channel. Oh, we could do that, just because John said so. Or we couldn't. All I have is a 52 for chipping, but I don't really want to spend 200 bucks on a 56 or 60. What should I look for? Well, I would tell you that you could certainly find something that's, you know, maybe gently used. You don't want to get wedges that are too old and worn out, but you could certainly spend less than that and get something that's a couple years old. You know, I might look for like a SM7, SM8 type range if you're looking online. There's great resources like eBay or Second Swing where you can find, you know, gently used or well-loved golf equipment. That was hit really good. I'm going to go check that one out on the... See how it looks. Hey, thanks, Squirrel Sniper. I appreciate it. All right, so Charlie, let me know if you have any follow-up questions about the 56, because I will grab mine and demonstrate. Hey, Kenny's back. What's up, Kenny? Golf Master says, I have a channel on YouTube that is about golf. Very cool. I will go check out that channel when we're done here. How do you hit small flop shots? Good question. So again, you know, we control the length of the swing and how much energy we put into the club, right? That will affect how far the ball goes. Let's assume you're, you know, chipping out of rough. And, you know, you're trying to fly the ball not very far, but you want to make sure that it gets out onto the green, right? So one way we can have it fly less, you know, not as far is to open the face, right? More loft will mean it goes up higher in the air. So I would open the face, and then especially out of rough, you want to make sure that you don't, you know, decelerate, which doesn't mean that you need to have a short backswing and try to pick it up. You don't want to do that either. If you watch the best players in the world chip, especially out of rough, you'll see, I actually just saw a great video from Nelly Korda showing this, right? They'll make sure that the club gets some energy into it, right? When they take it back. And then they'll release that energy without accelerating, right? But they're just releasing that energy into the grass, you know, kind of behind and under the ball, right? And they're just getting it to come out soft by... You know, there's still, again, that energy is going into the grass. The ball's definitely going to pop up and out and onto the green. But there's not a huge, you know, acceleration after the fact. But with that in mind, I would tell you, especially if you're a beginner golfer, even if you are short-sighted, right? Sometimes it's okay to say, you know what? I don't have a great lie. The pin's just right there. You know, I don't want to leave it in the rough or leave it in this bunker. Make sure that you have a consistent kind of go-to chip shot that you can say, okay, you know, it might be 20 feet away, my putt, but I know that I can deploy, you know, some sort of, for me, pretty standard chip shot and get that ball on the green, making sure my next shot is a putt, right? Hey, Tom's in here. We were talking about you yesterday, Tom. We were discussing our followers, you know, meeting and knowing each other from various parts of the world. We're thinking about you, Tom. Hope you've been well. You don't need to spend $200 on a brand new wedge. Spend $60 in a local shop on a 56. Make sure the bounce is 10 or 12 and practice. That's a really, really good comment, Benjamin. I appreciate that. Golf Master says, I will subscribe to your channel. Thank you so much, Golf Master. I appreciate that. That's very, very cool. Thank you guys. If you're new subscribers, I really appreciate it. And for many of you who are returning viewers, thanks for being here. I'm very grateful for your ongoing support. We, what have we been doing recently on the channel? We just hit 3,000 subscribers. We just hit 3 million, we're at like 3.1 million views now on the channel, which is super cool. We're doing our first giveaway. We're going to do the drawing in about 45 minutes here. Maybe less. Golf Master started their channel last week. Oh, congrats on your new channel, Golf Master. That's very exciting. I certainly still feel like I'm in that, you know, beginner YouTuber category for sure, right? I think January was when I posted my first video. And still just, you know, trying to figure it out, trying to get a little better each day, you know, whether that's on the live stream or how I film content, how I produce content. So I feel like we're still just kind of getting started, guys, and I'm super grateful for all of you for, you know, jumping on the bandwagon and saying, hey, I heard something or saw something cool, you know, something worthy of a like, or, you know, adding a new subscription to my feed, and that's the best, you know, vote of confidence I could ask for, so thank you, guys. Good sound on these strikes so far today, guys. Woo. Always remember to stay hydrated when you're out there practicing. I have a Maverick driver from Callaway that's kind of beat up. Should I look into a used, newer club? You could, if you know, I would say something that's even, you know, 3, 4, 5 years old, like a Sim 2, something in that range could be really effective. Can you tell me about your setup? Do you mean my bag setup, Drewski, or the tent setup and the hitting mat and all that? We all have we all hit the like on the sweet spot on a driver? Amazing. I love it, Squirrel Sniper. Shout out to Squirrel Sniper, doing a great job moderating the channel, helping us out here. I'm excited for you guys to watch the short that's coming out today. I was messing around doing some slow-mo filming, and I caught myself doing a club twirl in here, and I was like, man, that actually looks pretty cool in slow-mo, so I posted that. Whew. What else is going on with you guys? Anybody play golf this weekend? Kenny said thank you. You should put on a tablet the FedEx Cup Scotty's in second and Tommy's in third. Oh, wow. Maybe I will check that out briefly. Let's see, guys. Final round. Oh, wow. JJ Spawn having a nice day. I don't know. What do you guys think about JJ Spawn? Is he going to be like a one and done, one hit hero, or is he like a journeyman, had a breakthrough? What kind of irons, guys? Some people were asking about that. These are the Tacoma 301 CB irons. I've got 5-3 pitching wedge in the bag right now. I've got the 4-iron as well on the bench. Hey, Mindy said hi. Hey, Mindy. See, these are the moments when I really feel like I'm swinging it well, that I wish I had a quality launch monitor out here to get some data and, you know, see how far the balls would be flying. You know what, this one we're going to save for the golf course before we keep wailing away. Oh, there's a mischievous runaway Pro V1 over there. Naughty, naughty. I'm excited for some golden hour golf, guys. That 5:30, 6:30 kind of hour. Get the sun coming down. It's usually pretty quiet out on the course that time of day. I'd like to figure out a way to live stream from the golf course and make it entertaining, but I've yet to really figure out a way to do that, right? Because, you know, say you play 9 holes and that takes 2 hours, right? Well, cumulatively, if you hit 35 golf shots, right, well, that would take about 35 minutes, maybe less. I dipped for a bit. I tried to design some of a golf course just empty of ideas. Hey, Dieter's in here. What's up, Dieter? Do you like the JPX Mizuno irons? I have tried JPX irons. I was a big fan of them. They're really, really good. What putters do you lads use? Good question from Squirrel Sniper. Drop it in the chat. What putter you use? I've got the DF3 from Lab Golf in the bag. Really interesting looking putter, but it puts a beautiful roll on the ball. My friends call it a soup ladle when they're giving me a hard time, but you know, when you see the ball rolling into the hole repeatedly, it's easy to get over it. Mikkel says, how many dents are on that fence, bro? Well, none as of right now, but it is an interesting question, one that we get a lot. Squirrel Sniper, we'll need to, or can I ask for your help? I want to keep a list of like the top 10 questions that we get on the stream and then maybe make a video about it. So I think number 1 would be like, how do I not slice my driver? Like, what's the net / hitting setup? What are some drills I could actually do to get better? Is a good question that we get. Are you allowed at country clubs with all your tattoos? It's not a good question, but it is a question that we get. I'm trying to think of some other ones. What are some common ones? What irons do you use, or like what's in the bag type questions. How far do you hit it? It's a pretty common one. That was a bit steep, that swing, it felt like. Just a little drifty. What do you guys think? Should we get a simulator or watch monitor out here? How can we keep making the stream better? I want to always, be trying to improve, enhance the experience. Golf Master, what's the furthest you have hit? Like my longest drive ever? Like, 180 ball speed? It's probably the fastest I've ever been on TrackMan. My fence would need to be reinforced with steel. How many times I'd shank it? It's a cool setup. Thanks, Mikkel. Quick question. Still bad at golf, like 40 handicap. At what point should I actually start looking to upgrade my clubs from the 30-year-old clubs I have now? I think when you feel like you can, pretty consistently strike the ball, and like get it up in the air, have it fly, pretty consistently towards your target. But the honest answer is, it's a hobby, right? It's your money. You could spend, a few $100s, a couple $1,000s on clubs. You could spend that money on lessons. You could do a mix of both. You could spend it all on greens fees, right? And just go play golf a bunch and try to practice that way. So the real answer is it's up to you. There's people who will never spend money a day in their life on lessons because they're just, you know, they're really into the equipment and they like having new stuff. And vice versa, there's guys who are like, I just want to get better. You know, my equipment's fine. You know, I'm going to spend my time practicing and playing golf, right? So it's really up to you to determine, you know, within the confines of your budget and what interests you with this hobby. Simulator for sure. Play around from your mat. Yeah, that would be cool. I hear them harming. What's harming? Harming launch monitors are great? What's harming? I don't know that one. Thank you, Squirrel Sniper. Yes. Sounds like I'm going to have to check out the final round of this tournament before I head to the golf course. Always fun when you got, you know, quality players like Scheffler and Fleetwood in the mix. You know what I think I'm going to do today, guys, at the golf course? I think we're going to play the front tees. We're going to do a break 30 challenge. That could be really fun. It's a short golf course already, so it'll be like a lot of par threes almost. Logan says, hey, just made it to the stream. What's up, Logan? Thanks for hanging out. Oh, Garmin. That makes sense, Liam. Sorry, Garmin. Yes, we've had other people suggest the Garmin in here. The only problem is I'm being a little bit stingy, and I'm you know, mildly optimistic that one of those companies would want to help me set it up and, you know, do some sort of partnership here to showcase the product on the live stream. But, you know, we might just have to save up and get something like that anyway, just to, you know, continue making the stream as good as it can be. I don't know if I like practicing with the 7-iron. It's definitely not all that different than practicing with an 8-iron, but, you know, somewhere more in the middle of the bag, perhaps. Birdie Badger, do you work? You seem to play every day. Not with 48 people on a live. It's not. Oh, I don't know if I understand the context of your comment, but hey, Andrew's here. Yo, I love golf. Will I ever get the girl I like? Golf Master said, I love your tattoos. Thanks so much. If it was a good product, you could do it yourself and make all the profit. Stop trying to get help and be the man. If it was a good product. Hi from the UK. Very cool, guys. You know, it's funny. People will give you a hard time for spending too much time, you know, live streaming and doing YouTube, and other people will be like, well, just, you know, if you were good enough, they would do it. So it's like you can get the same, in the same moment, two opposite ends of the spectrum, which is always interesting. But hey, if you're coming back to watch the stream, you know, more than once, more power to you. I can't control what your reaction to it is going to be, but if you're out there watching, shout out to you. It's important to remember, guys, that whether it's making content or, you know, making friends, not everybody's going to be for you, and you're not going to be for everybody, right? You don't like all the people you come across on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, right? Shouldn't expect other people to feel, you know, or operate differently. You're spending too much time doing YouTube. No, you're not spending enough of your own money doing YouTube. Look at that, net returning its way right back to me. That's what we like to see. Ooh. Chat, will I ever get the girl I really like? You definitely will. Just be yourself. Be confident. I'm from the UK too. Where do you live? I am in the northeast part of the US. Girls only like guys who are scratcher better. Nah, that's not true. What balls do you use and what do you recommend? I use Callaway Super Sauce and Pro V1. Tiger Weed said hi. What's up, Tiger? I use the TP5X on the golf course. Number one golf tip, get your grip correct, especially top hand. Totally agree, Andrew. Great point, right? So important to have a good, you know, control on that club face, a nice strong, you know, position for your body to, you know, want to be able to deliver power into the ground. What did you use to make your hitting mat? Good question, Tony. This is just some 2x4s with a piece of plywood underneath. I made a box, right? I filled the box in with gym foam tiles for cushioning. And I laid the hitting mat on top. I had to make some small cuts, but this was a 3x5 MaxFly hitting mat. Clearly, I think that's the piece that will need to be replaced the soonest. Because, you know, I hit a lot of golf balls out here, and it's already started to fail in some spots. So if you guys have recommendations on, you know, like a 3x5 hitting mat, let me know which ones you guys like. 5 tips to a girl. Oh, to get a girl? Number one tip is just be yourself, right? Most people, especially women, are very good at, you know, seeing if you're disingenuous, right? You know, if you're a goofy, silly person, then just be that. Be yourself. And like I was saying earlier, you know, you got to understand that you're not going to get along great with everybody and vice versa. But just, you know, be confident in who you are. Work on yourself, right? I think if you get to a place where you feel love for yourself and you can forgive yourself for mistakes and really, you know, have some self-awareness, that's a great place to start. And you'll notice that once you get to that place, that people start being drawn to you, right? It goes both ways. Lanning said hi. Jesse Smith said, dude, can you talk about your swing space there? That is awesome. Yeah, so this is a Net Return series, or Net Return Pro series, I should say. If you're interested in that, check out the link in the description. And then over top, I've just got this 10 by 20. It's not actually 20. It's probably more like 15 feet. We cut off the last section. This is just a Shelter Logic, like party canopy. And really enjoying that addition to the setup, given it, protects me from the sun. Keeps it much cooler under here in the shade than it would be out in the sun, right? What else? So I just talked about the hitting mat and how we built that. That's dug into the ground. Again, trying to maximize the space that we have, keep it level as best as possible. Danny says, thanks for helping me, dude. You're great at golf. I appreciate it. Raul really wants me to hit the ball. Golf Master is going to Egypt. Very cool. My wife and I went to Egypt a number of years ago. Had an amazing time. It's really a special place. That was hit pretty well. Touch them all, baby. That has a really nice sound to it. This is a 5 hybrid that I put in the bag, guys. This is like a 205 club. 200, 205, and it just goes straight up in the air. It lands super soft. Jesse says, I'm going to build a replica. Well, awesome news, Jesse. If you're interested in getting the net return, use the code that's down there. You'll save 10% on your net return purchase, which is a really, really nice offer that they've done, teaming up with us. Tony says, nice. I was thinking about using foam and 8-inch plywood, then my mat. It looks good. Thanks, Tony. Do you do anything to your swing space there in the wintertime to be able to use it, like to keep it warm? Great question, Jesse. I've not used this out in the wintertime yet. My wife and I just bought our first home, which is where we are now. Another, just coincidental promo for the net return, right? We just moved. I had to pack it up, break it down, put it in the little duffel bag it comes with, set it back up out here. It was so easy. It took me 7-8 minutes by myself. Had it back up and running, hitting balls. So the honest answer is we're going to find out. I don't know how it's going to work in the winter. Or if, we'll keep this space out here, or if I'll do something inside. We're going to find out together. But also, just not having to drive and spend $20, $25, $40, $20, $30 at the driving range every time you want to go hit balls. Right? I can just come out here. There we go. That was a better strike. Better sound. Is that a QI10? Good question, Gavin. Yeah, this is a QI10 5 hybrid. Very highly lofted hybrid. But like I said, especially for hitting into par 5s and par 3s, really, really nice. Do you have a way to hit your driver out here? I do. I just, I tee it up over here on the side, right, so that the highest part of the swing is in the highest part of the tent. You guys probably can't see, but I found out the hard way that if I stood in the center here, that the fall through would hit the other side. So we made a little hole there, but that's no big deal. So yeah, I just tee it up over here. And I have no issues hitting driver. Right, we've done a bunch of speed training out here on the live stream. You know, hitting balls, I think we got up to 114 miles an hour of club head speed, and so, you know, like high 160s ball speed. So we're making some progress on the speed front after, you know, a lot of time rehabbing and you know, dealing with some injuries. Have the same club, but 4 hybrid. Best club in my bag currently. Big fan. Thanks, Luke. I appreciate that. That's a really nice comment. Yeah, these hybrids are great. You know, I never stand out on like a, you know, a 210-yard par 3 and think, you know what I wish I had is a 4-iron right now. I go, no, dude, I just line this thing up. It's very, very forgiving, easy to hit. You know, ball just flies high and straight. Lands soft. I remember hitting a really good one of these into a par 5 in my last qualifier, made a birdie. Hit it up there to, you know, 25, 30 feet, easy 2-putt. Long irons are for the birds, guys. That's old stuff. Gotta try not to hit too many golf balls before I gotta go play. Thanks for the advice. You're welcome, Tony. Stupid question, but is it good in the rain? To be honest with you, I don't know if I've used it in the rain since I put it up. But I think it, yeah, I expect it will be really good. I'm hoping to be able to come out and still hit when it's raining. Whereabouts did you go? I'm going to I think it's called Haggadah. Oh, we went to Cairo to start, and then worked our way down the Nile to see some other sites. And then came back up to Cairo. I really like that part of the world. The food's amazing. The people are very warm and welcoming. Gavin says, I just got new woods, a 3-wood and a 5-wood. They aren't brand new, but they're new to me. They're Affinity brand and super reliable. That's awesome, Logan. Getting new clubs is one of the fun parts of golf. All right, guys, so we got 10 more minutes. And in 10 minutes, we are going to draw the winner of our giveaway. We're going to use a random number generator. I'm going to call out the number, and then once we have that, I'm going to go over to the tracker that I have set up. I broke a driver shaft today, and the club went further than the ball. That'll happen sometimes. Hey, Spin Bros. What gloves would you recommend for a beginner? It's really personal preference with gloves. I would say you don't need to spend a ton of money on gloves. You know, just get something that's reliable, that fits you nicely. You know, the Dry Joys, I think, are one of the cheaper FootJoy brands. I've had good luck with those as a budget glove in the past. But they, you know, all the manufacturers make good gloves. I don't know if I know of like a secret, you know, like a good steel or place to get them. If anybody in the chat knows where to get good, affordable gloves. Logan says, my irons are 4 through gap wedge. My only wood is a 3-wood. What hybrid should I get, or do you think a 5-wood would be better? I think so, Logan. Let's work backwards, right? Let's understand, you know, you got to identify where's the gap in your bag, right? Say your 4-iron goes 200 yards and your 3-wood goes 250, right? Well, then you say, I might want something that goes 225, 230. That could be a good 5-wood club or a hybrid, right? But try to figure out your distances, write them down, and then say, well, what's a shot that would be really hard, right? Say you had a 225-yard shot. In the last example, it's too far to hit a 4-iron, but it's going to be hard to take a whole bunch off a 3-wood, right? That's kind of like the gap identification process that you want to do to figure out what clubs go in your bag. But happy to chat more about that. What does the trail hand do during the swing? How active is it? So I try to feel like my trail hand doesn't do anything until like the last, from my waist to the ball in the downswing, right? Like it's kind of just along for the ride, and then at the very end, you're using it to finish throwing the club and adding a tiny bit of speed at the bottom. But pretty passive trail hand, ideally. Hey, Jesse's a new subscriber. Amazing. Thank you, Jesse. I appreciate the support. Thanks for subscribing. I've heard that it is warm. Yes, especially this time of year. We went in August as well to Egypt, and it was quite warm. I think it was, around 100 most days, but truly a beautiful country. Yo-Yo says, I have a Ping G30 driver. Very cool. Rich Bova says, show me the proper grip, and M. Keldgard says, show me a high draw. All right, so let's do the grip question first. Right? And guys, if you are interested in a last-minute entry for the giveaway, much to the chagrin of your, previously entered participants, check out the video in the description or just drop a double check mark in the live stream chat. If you follow me and Firefighter Golf on Instagram, free to enter. We are going to send this to somebody, to a lucky subscriber. All right, so the grip is going to start out in the fingers, right? Fingers, not the palm, not deep in here, right? The hand will be kind of on top, especially with the left hand, the lead hand, right? Trail hand, sits in here. Ideally, you have the V that's created by your thumb and index finger on both hands, right? Will be pointed at this right shoulder. So for me, it looks something like that, right? And don't forget, because we want to deliver some shaft lane into impact, I like to set up that way as well, right? So that's how I think about the grip. And in terms of, I do this overlap grip where my pinky just sits here on the back of my left hand. You can interlock. I did that for a long time. You can baseball grip it, although that's less common. 10-finger grip. What do you mean, do we have to pick a number? Oh, you don't have to pick a number. So I have a tracker, right? A list of people that have entered the giveaway. And, it's 1 through X, right? And then we're going to tell the random number generator, hey, pick a number. And then I'm going to go and look and say it's number 14. Whoever's in row number 14 will be the winner. So we can't do it with these cars going, but yeah, all you got to do is follow me and Firefighter Golf on Instagram. Drop a double check mark. Keldgard wanted to see a high draw. Let's hit a high draw. Something like that. That was hit pretty well. It is a nice feel, that high draw swing. Something like that. Rich said, I see. Raul says, I launched my Callaway Big Bertha 4 Hybrid into the water out of frustration. Well, I think it's a good lesson that there can be consequences for losing your temper on the golf course, right? I've been there myself. I've broken clubs, I'm not proud of that. But, as you get older and more mature, you realize that that's only going to hurt your game in the long run. Not only the mental drain and self-admonishment that comes after, the financial cost of dealing with replacing your clubs. It's all a mess, right? So, recognize that you're going to lose your temper, but trying to maintain your composure, is an important growth step. Do we need to pick a number? Nope, you don't need to pick a number. Hey, Mr. Funny Gauge is here. How tight should you grip the club? Well, I was listening to an interesting podcast about this called The Sweet Spot. They had a guest on who did a grip strength study. and found that generally people don't grip the club tightly enough, right? So I would suggest, you know, for the average golfer that maybe gripping it a bit tighter could be beneficial. Would it be the same grip for bunker shot? Yeah, so I don't think the grip changes all that much really through the bag, right? Every shot. Now, granted, with a wedge, you might open the face in the bunker, right? But you do that and then you grip it, right? You don't grip it and then open the face, right? That would be really uncomfortable. So that's a mistake. Some people, you know, they say, oh, open the face, and they just have the same grip and they do this, right? It's the opposite. You want to open the face and then grip it the same, right? 7 out of 10. What set of clubs would you recommend for a beginner golfer? Good question, Stinka. I would say whatever gets you out practicing and playing golf is going to be a good set for you. You know, all the major brands will make good beginner equipment, you know, depending on your budget. You know, if your budget's minimal, like there's been periods in my life where I'm like, I just got to get what I can get and go out and play. You know, you can do really well with just a small set, you know, 3, 4, 5 clubs. You know, from like eBay or your local thrift shop. And just get a driver, a couple irons, a wedge, and a putter. And you go out and start, you know, hitting balls, playing golf, having a good time. Could a larger grip increase your grip strength? A bigger grip fix how tight you grip it? I've been toying with the idea to go to the jumbos. Yeah, so I think also in this podcast, you know, they talked with this expert. He said that the mid-size grip should really be the standard, right? That people are largely playing grips that are too small. And that's been my experience too. I've switched to, these are jumbo grips that have a little bit of extra tape to build up the bottom hand, right? And I found a lot of, especially for my dispersion, right? The ball just seems to go straighter. The club face seems more stable. That's been my experience going to the larger grip. And it feels crazy to go back. Like these speed training sticks still have standard size grips on them, and it feels horrible. I put it in my hand now and I'm like, I can't believe that I used to play golf with these tiny little grips. I only have one 9-iron right now. I'm looking for some cheap quality irons, maybe Tacomos. Yeah, I've had a really good experience with the Tacomo irons, guys. You've heard me talk about those before. Have you ever... Shock Fam said, bing bong, gully, gully, gully. What is a recommendation to hit less shots off the heel? Good question, Yo-Yo. So practice intentionally moving your strike pattern around the face. And what I mean by that is, if you're saying, hey, I'm hitting a bunch out of the heel, I want to hit it in the center. Well, I would tell you practice hitting it out of the toe, right? You guys have heard me talk before about how my miss tends to be on the toe. So sometimes I'll get in here and I'll say, okay, we got to hit, 5 in a row or 10 in a row, all out of the heel, right? And I'm trying to just move that strike pattern around the face, right? And like that one I could tell by trying to hit the heel, I actually hit it right out of the center. So that can be a really good intention or practice. Because if you can intentionally, on command, hit it out of the heel or the toe, well then presumably you could also hit it out of the center. So that's the skill that I want you to develop, right? And don't be afraid to, same idea, right? If you're struggling with a slice, well, can you learn how to hook it? Can you get the ball going the other way? Can you close the face? Because if you can produce a hook, well, then you know how to hit it straight, right? It's just in between the slice and the hook swing. So don't be afraid to practice with those, outer bands of what you've got going on. Sealed my fate with the grips I'm in. Thanks, Jesse. TM says, I shot a 13 over today. I've only played for 2 years. Is that good for me to shoot that? Yeah, that's great. I think anything that gets you out playing golf, having fun, is awesome. They're not cheap, just good. Unfortunately, you would have to get Tacomo's custom fit, and they have few options. Sub 70 gives you all the options. Oh, do you like sub 70, guys? Or Leprechaun? I've never tried those. How much was the mat you're using? So the whole thing to build it with the wood was probably a few $100. The mat is probably like $150, I want to guess. This was a pretty cheap one from like a Dick's Sporting Goods. And then I've got some cushioning underneath it with gym tiles. All right, guys, we have come to the moment you've all been waiting for. We're going to draw the winner of our giveaway challenge. What I'm going to do is I'm going to have the random number generator. Wow, you guys are in luck. We have only 10 entries. So you have a 10% chance. You guys all missed out. If you haven't entered, it is now closed. 10 entries, guys. You got a 10% chance of winning this hybrid. Adrian said hi. Rebecca said hi. Hey, guys. Hey, Grant's in here. What's up, Grant? Random number generator, 1 through 10. Number 4, the Kenboy 1. The Kenboy 1 from YouTube. We had some Instagram entries. Here, guys. Number 4. Congrats to you, Kenboy. I'll have to go find your comment on YouTube and let you know that you've won. Yeah, Jesse wins, I imagine. Number 4, well done. Sorry if you didn't win, but we're going to be doing more giveaways. Don't worry, I think it's a really fun idea. I would like to find a way, maybe, we'll have to do some research, find a way to get more engagement, right? We did it for like 2.5 weeks. I thought it was pretty easy, right? Just, go follow a couple people, raise awareness, and 10 entries was a little disappointing. So we'll have to find a way, or a better format, potentially, to, get more people involved, try to, find some more cool stuff to do giveaways for. How far can you hit your driver, Rebecca wants to know. So the highest ball speed I've ever seen on a TrackMan is like 180. And recently, the highest this season is 172. But it's been, well, that was, the first number, the 180, that was in college. And that was 10, 12-ish years ago. And my club head speed got as low as like 100 when I was really overweight and out of shape and had a bad back and bad knees, and some of that stuff is still true sometimes, but I spent a lot of time, I lost a whole bunch of weight, got myself back in shape. I've worked on my back and my mobility a whole bunch. So yeah, 172 is the highest that I've seen this year while doing speed training. These days we're living in the like high 160s when I really get warm and can get the club moving. Logan says, I think make one giveaway for YouTube and one for Instagram. Maybe someone doesn't have an Instagram or YouTube, just a suggestion for the future. Great suggestion, Logan. This is exactly the kind of stuff that I'm looking for or trying to understand. And part of the goal with the first one, right, was I built this platform on YouTube. We started this months ago, but only recently did I start on Instagram. And I think in hindsight, I would have started both at the same time. Just putting out content, trying to understand the different platforms and how they work. And it's been much slower growing on Instagram. So that was part of the goal, was to do some cross-pollination, if you will. Isaac is back. Hey, Isaac. Kenny's here. What's up, Kenny? I've seen someone hit 169.6 club head speed. I think I saw that video too. That was crazy. I mean, that's like a very impressive ball speed number, right? 170 ball speed would be great. Logan says, for example, I did not have an Instagram and did not enter the giveaway. Okay, that totally makes sense. So that is awesome feedback. Maybe we'll keep them separate. Really smart idea. I appreciate that suggestion, Logan. If you guys have any other ideas, or you're like, hey, you know, golf club isn't interesting to me, but like golf balls would be, or apparel. All right, so I'm going to hit some wedges to wrap up, and then it will be time for me to head to the golf course. I think I decided, guys, we're going to do a break 30 from the front tees for today's round. We're going to film that. Not live stream, but we're just going to film it and then have some stuff to work on and post when I go on vacation. Going on vacation next week, the middle part of the week for a week or so. Hey, Julian's here. What's up, Julian? You made me top 10 balls at least. It's funny. Thanks for checking my live stream. Yeah, of course. It was cool to be our participant in someone's live stream, right? And not just a producer, right? Or the person talking and doing the thing. And it's fun to, you know, support other creators, people who have supported me. And some of you guys say, hey, I make content too. So that's the whole, you know, one of the ideas about not just, you know, producing content, but engaging and, you know, communicating with people, trying to build a community, right? Not just like, hey, do you want to watch this guy hit balls or play golf? Like, that could be cool, but it's also fun to interact, to get to know people, right? We're all, unless you're a bot, in which case maybe I'm not talking to you, but we're all, you know, humans having a human experience. What is your favorite club? Kenny's got to go. See ya, Kenny. My favorite club is usually driver. That's the one that I hit the best, I like to think. But if you can make your putter your favorite club, you'll be in really good shape. Louis said, long drag. Tell me more what you mean by long drag. BC Golf said hi. Hey, BC. Did you play golf in high school? I did play golf in high school and in college, which was really, really fun. Some of my, you know, best, still to this day, some of my best friends are guys I played with on that team. What is the best lab putter? Well, I don't know what the best one is, but I have got this DF3 in the bag that I'm a big fan of. You know, my friends will call it a soup ladle and give me a hard time, but if it gets the ball in the hole, that's what I care about. Logan says, I got to get going. Appreciate you for liking the giveaway advice. Keep up the great content. We'll see you next time. Thanks very much, Logan. I appreciate you being here to show some support. Working here on, my routine, how I step into the ball, right? Picking a target. Aim that club face, step into it, and go. Right? Really trying to make sure not spending too much time standing over the ball. Trying to keep things as, reactionary as possible to what you're seeing and feeling. How do you hit your wedges so low? I skyrocket mine easily. Is the TSI 3 Titleist driver good? I'm sure it is good. I think all the major companies, TaylorMade and Titleist are my personal favorites. But I'm sure Callaway makes great stuff, and Strixon's, been making good stuff for a long time. So they're all good. Julian, to answer your question about the wedges, right? One thing we want to make sure we're doing when we're trying to fight those wedges is that the handle stays forward into impact, right? So we're going to be de-lofting that club some. We don't need to be, adding loft or helping this ball up into the air, right? This loft already has a ton of loft on it to help us do that. Another, thing that can help, you can play it a little bit further back in your stance. I wouldn't get it all the way on your back foot necessarily, but play around with, maybe slightly back of center. That can help you, keep the shaft leaning this way, right? And then remember, with these wedges, we want to keep the hands moving as we turn. You don't need to throw the club this way, right? But you want to maintain that loft, or that lag, I meant to say, right? That angle into the ball, right? And, you can feel it in your right wrist, right? This angle that you're holding that angle into the hit. Right, and it's something you can practice too. When you're out on the driving range, hit a couple wedges, see how high they fly, and then say, okay, if that's what the stock one does, then let's try to hit one, that's lower than that. How can I do that, right? You can saw off the finish, move it back in your stance. You can lean the shaft more. So lots of different ways to get it done. But that's going to do it for today's stream, guys. Thank you so much for being here. Congrats to Ken Boy. Oh no, Julian hit one over the fence. Didn't hit anybody, which is a miracle. Well, there's something to be said for that. Con the Goat is here. What's up, Con? Awesome. Hit that subscribe button for me, guys, if you haven't already. We'll be back with more live streams, more content coming soon. Thanks for all the support. We will see you next time.